Hi, I'm Natalie.
And I'm Shay.
And this is Delusional
As fuck.
Welcome back.
What the heck? Where have we been? Well, hopefully for you guys, it feels like we never even left because we have been resharing some of our old favorite episodes from way back in the day, like 2023 back in the day.
Yeah, for those who don't know, we took a little bit of a creative hiatus to work on our rebrand, to work on some really exciting things that are now live, which is so exciting. We feel a little rusty, maybe because it's been so long. Hopefully it doesn't feel like it's been that long because we've just been reposting our old content because why not?
It still hits.
It still hits. We posted one about spring and it was like the first day of spring or something. Maybe you guys didn't notice. We got some feedback that some people didn't even notice.
It came out basically exactly a year after it originally came out. So the dates were still very much in line, which is funny. You know what's really weird? Only this episode and the next episode until I'm 28. An old woman.
Oh my gosh. So old. So exciting. Birthday queen.
I know. I hope spring has been off to a good start. I feel like we get fake spring here in Oregon, like on and off every other week for like the first few weeks of spring. But I've heard that in California, there's been pretty good weather lately. Is that true?
Yeah. It's been good. I mean, I guess I wouldn't know because I was in Texas for 4 days and it was 90 degrees with like 100% humidity, and then it was raining, and then there was lightning, and then it was cold the next day and it was windy.
Oh, so your dream weather. I say that with
my
complete
dream
and utter
weather
sarcasm because that sounds like your weather week from hell.
How do you pack for that? How do you pack for something like that, bro? Anyways, we're moving on because I'm no longer in Texas. I'm back in California where I belong. And what else? Oh, taxes.
Oh, you guys,
Bummer.
taxes are due tomorrow. And I'm being robbed. I'm being robbed by the government, as most of us are being. And we can't talk about it for too long or else I'll cry. But by tomorrow, I have to pay the government about $2,200, which is so fun, especially given that we're currently paying for a wedding. So love that for me. So my Venmo will be in the description if you want to donate. Anyways, we have so many updates to share with you guys. We have a lot to debrief on. Natalie's trip to Texas, my chemical peel, but we just don't have enough time to talk about all of that today. And you guys know when we're giving updates, we do not skimp on the details. So next week we will be doing a bestie girl chat and we will be catching you guys up on everything that you missed while we were away. But we haven't even really announced it. I guess we don't need to announce it because they should have already seen it. We have a drum roll, please. New cover.
We have a new cover. It's not CGI. It's not AI. It's not a deep fake. We actually, okay, I probably shouldn't say me because I feel like it was probably mostly Brandon and Shay, carried an air mattress up a hill, a steep one, a long one, a tall one.
A big hill.
We blew it up
at the top of the hill.
Grass. And we thrifted a bunch of pillows and a whole bedding set for it.
Basically.
We brought my nightstand. I thrifted a lamp and a cute little clock for it. And you know what? We fucking did that.
And then when we looked back at the photos, we were like, oh my God, wait, this looks fake. This looks fake. How are we ever going to fight the accusations?
It kind of does look like a green screen. I don't really know why, but it's real. There was blood, sweat, and tears that went into making that fucking cover.
Blood. A lot of blood. We'll get into that. But the universe loves to test us. The running joke with us is like, there is somebody... We don't want to put this out there, huh? This freaks you out. Natalie's... I can't expose you. Natalie has a fear of saying things like this, but the whole time I'm like, is somebody preying on our downfall? Because remember, I'm like, there's no way that all of these things are going wrong that we have to persevere through in order to just get this fucking photo.
No, don't say that.
I know.
I am scared of that. I hate that.
But
The
first,
evil eye.
okay, I didn't know if you wanted people to know about your fear of the evil eye, so I wasn't gonna say it.
It's ingrained in my blood. I think it is just a test because, you know, we have high expectations for ourselves and we'll keep going through the pain, through the cramps, through the blood.
Yes. No, so the funny thing is we had this plan for quite some time. So it wound up being in February, and luckily there was a prediction for decent weather. There was one day where the weather wasn't going to be good, but we were like, okay, then we'll shoot the following day. That was supposed to be that Saturday. And we couldn't decide on a freaking duvet cover for the blanket to save our lives. That was like the last thing that we ordered, but it said that it was going to be there by like Thursday or Friday. It was supposed to get there. Friday rolls along. I fly in. Then we're back at Natalie's later that night. And we're like, where's the duvet cover?
Yeah, it was unfortunately the only thing that we could not find in the thrift.
So the weekend was already off to an interesting start. I started losing my voice. The duvet cover, we're waiting on it. And we were like, what are we going to do? We're supposed to wake up early tomorrow morning and go shoot the cover. So ultimately, we made the decision. I don't even remember at like what time. We were like, it's not happening tomorrow.
We had to switch our plans around. And then day of the shoot, is that when you got your period?
Yeah, so my period was supposed to come before. This was another important detail we left out. This whole trip was planned based off of our flow calendars. Remember?
Just girly things.
We had them both out, and we were literally trying to find a week where we were not going to be in our luteal phase or on our period. So that left us with literally like 1 week, specific week.
Yep.
So luckily the weather worked out, but I was supposed to get my period before. And for some reason, my period was like multiple days late. I believe that's what happened. And I was like, I still haven't got it. Still haven't got it. Still haven't got it. Then I'm like, am I pregnant? What's going on?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I can't talk. I'm pregnant. What the?
And I thought I was pregnant too.
we were both pregnant. No. So we had a fun day in San Francisco, though. That was a really fun day.
Very fun.
The duvet comes. It looks interesting. It's not ugly, but it definitely looks like we got it off of Amazon.
It's giving Temu, like so cheap looking. There was like holographic
glitter.
It was.
But we were like, this is it. Natalie's pitching other ideas, and I'm like, Natalie, this is the duvet. This is the duvet. So I wake up to none other than my sweet period, which I was kind of glad to see, because I was like, oh, thank God. Thank God. Relief. I was a little spooked at that point. I swear it was like 6 days late or like something insane that. It was.
But we were also happy because now you're not going to get it on your
wedding. My wedding, yeah. See, me and Natalie were manifesting too hard because I was freaked, because I was looking at my Flow app and I was like, Natalie, the way I'm literally getting my period the day of the wedding, you're joking. And then I was like, I'm going to have to do something to delay it. I was like looking into supplements that I can take to like fuck up my cycle. And then the next cycle, fucked up. And this is what happens when we manifest too hard.
I think I would lose my fucking shit if I looked at that Flow app and saw the circle on the date. Oh my God, it's like a nightmare. I will actually have nightmares about that because everyone knows my period ruins my life. Anyways, let's move on.
So that's the story of the cover. We did get the shot. We're so happy. We have been dying, not so patiently waiting to finally update it on Apple and Spotify. So we're so excited to finally have it up and enter this new era of the podcast.
We are now at Very, Very Delusional. That's our new social handles. Basically, we took this month to do an entire rebrand. switch up the vibes, switch up the feel, switch up the aesthetic. The new cover is really setting the tone. We're so family friendly. Look at us go. At very, very delusional. But we're still delusional as fuck.
For the record, I think if we could have the handle just say delusional as fuck, we probably would. But whoever the fuck you are, us being like we're so family friendly now, whoever you are, the day we have enough money to buy your handle from you, we're gonna take it.
We're coming for you.
We don't have the resources. He
doesn't even use it.
I know we don't have the resources right now, but be on the lookout. Be on the lookout. Anyways, for now, I think very, very delusional is very, very cute.
Yes, and if it's your first time with us, welcome.
You came at a good time.
Yeah, this is a great time. I hope you stay.
In honor of this big change, this big shift in the podcast. Okay, but not too big. Let's make that clear. We're still bringing the same immaculate vibes. All right. We're more so talking about the visuals. We're also, working to make the episodes even better for you guys. So that's something to look forward to. But on the topic of things changing around here, today we're going to be talking about change, an inevitable fact of life.
There's a lot of change happening in my life. And keep in mind, we're at the end of a very, very fucking intense retrograde. Like the most intense one I had ever faced, where I feel like anything that could have gone wrong went wrong almost. And now I'm entering my Saturn return. And I knew this year was going to be something, and it is. And there's a lot of change coming up for me.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
I could say the same for myself. I think we're both in very transitionary phases of life right now. We both have moving on the docket this year, and we've both been in our places for a similar amount of time. And that's a big change for sure. You're newly engaged. I'm literally about to be a wife. What do you mean? You definitely have more changes going on this year than I do. And I already feel like I have a lot of changes going on, but you have even more. So how are you feeling?
Right now, I feel okay. I definitely am very open to change. I accept it. I acknowledge that change is going to happen, and it's going to be a good thing, because I really generally believe that change and just evolving is very important to becoming your best self and just part of the journey. I don't think that you can really stay the same forever as much as you might want to for whatever reason. But that said, I am not always like the fastest to acclimate, and I do get overwhelmed, and I still will get stressed even if I'm like consciously like this is something that I want. Mm-hmm. It still does end up stressing me out, usually at the end portion. Up until then it's like I'm fine, I feel good, I trust in the universe, everything will work out, I'm not worried. But like the last week before any big change, just don't talk to me, because I'm gonna be like just in my like head freaking out, probably
a little anxiety inducing, you would say.
A little,
yeah. A lot.
Mm-hmm. I tend to like break out in hives. That's like my thing.
You get hives? Really I did not know. Hives. What? I didn't know that happens to you.
You've known. You've seen.
No, it's just I think the reason I'm so shocked is that there's something this major that I don't know about you. That's what's more shocking. I don't care that you get hives. Not judging.
Remember when I first opened the store, like the very first time? I didn't really know what it was, but like I had splotches. I'm almost sure I sent pictures, or maybe, I don't know, maybe
I just forgot. But not the hives, the stress hives. No.
The stress hives. I do. I don't know. It's whatever. But ultimately, I feel like I do know when the time is right to like just move on from whatever.
I'm also kind of similar in that way. I don't feel like I have too much to really elaborate on as far as like how I handle change, minus the stress hives, I think. I get these like little bumps on my fingers. I don't know if that's like a stress thing.
Those are hives.
Just, they're tiny though. Those are hives.
Probably.
Maybe
hives look different, I think, because I've had some crazy ones. Like when I went to New York. Okay, we don't need to keep talking about my hives. It's fine. Whatever.
Join us next week as we do a recap on all of the times that we've gotten hives.
Stay tuned for more exciting stories about periods and hives. Well, I tend to believe, because I believe in a lot of weird things, I think, that when it's time to move on, usually there are signs.
Mm-hmm.
That's my personal belief. And I have some stories, but I want to know, do you think that there are signs when it's time to move, and have you ever noticed them?
Oh, yes, definitely. I feel like we talk about this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's just another big reason why we both know that this is a big transitionary phase of our lives, because we both keep getting signs like get out, get up, you need to change something, because the universe is actively kicking you out.
That is genuinely how I feel, because I was really thinking about all of the different places I've lived, which there's been quite a few. And I was thinking, you know what? Towards the end was always when things got weird.
Yeah.
For my first apartment that I moved into with my friends after living in the dorms in college, the last maybe 2 months, things just got so bad. We had a peeping Tom, which was frightening. I was very scared to be there. My anxiety was at an all-time high, just the worst ever. Some of my friends were getting into really toxic situations, which I won't go too much into detail about, but I was really scared because I was really young and I didn't know what to do, and I didn't want to move out of this place with my roommates who are also my friends and like, you know, all this stuff. And it was my roommate who was like, there is something bad happening in this place and we all need to move and move away and just live with other people because like this mix isn't good. She was 100% totally completely correct. It was so toxic and we could not stay there anymore. It was time to move, and the universe was like giving us every sign in the book. But I was so resistant, but it was time. And then in the other place that I moved into, which I loved my little studio that I moved into, and I lived alone and I was obsessed up until the very last day, which was, I didn't know it was going to be the last day because this was right before COVID happened and the pandemic happened. The very last day when I was going to leave, and I thought I was going home for like 2 weeks because of the pandemic thing that I didn't know was going to be forever. My neighbors were fighting. My neighbors were fighting so loud, and I could hear every word, every single word so clearly. It was like the wall wasn't even a wall. It was like a piece of paper or something and not a wall. I don't know how to explain it, but it was so loud. And their fighting was so bad and going on for so long, and it was really escalating, and I was getting really upset just hearing it. And I think I was worried it was going to be physical or something. I slammed on the wall. I said, shut up. I screamed, shut up so loudly. Like I was red. And I slammed on the wall and the wall broke. Did you not know this?
No. I didn't know you busted a hole in the wall.
I busted a straight hole through the fucking wall. The wall wasn't even a wall. It was like a sheet, like a thin sheet, like or something. I don't know what it was.
Like drywall.
Drywall. Busted right through it. Big gaping hole in the wall. And the neighbors are shook. The guy is like, he's like, who was that? Like he was scared. He thought I was probably like a massive man gonna come fucking strangle him or something. They got real quiet after that, and I didn't know what to do, so I think I just locked myself in the room, went to sleep, got up in the morning, left, and I came back once to get my stuff. I just emailed the apartment people, and I was like, there's a hole in our wall. It was very thin and shitty quality. Not sure what happened. They just fixed it. And then, okay, last quick story, but in the last place that we lived in before we moved into the place we're currently at, beautiful place. We loved it. We lived there for 2 years. It was really unique because it was high up in the mountains, and it was a very unique situation where we're living on a landlord's property in a guest house essentially. But towards the end, our landlord, who, like I said, lives on the property, had been out of the country for months, We could not get a hold of him. I think he was fleeing. I don't know. Don't quote me. But there was a storm, a scary, scary storm. We had no power for days. The tree, there's a ginormous big tree that fell in the road. Brandon had to cut it up. We could not get a hold of this guy. It was black ice. Needless to say,
it was time to go.
It was time.
Mm-hmm.
So those are my stories.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my little signs to switch apartments.
Yeah, I feel like similarly, I've had a lot of experiences like that when it's been time to move, when I just know the universe is like, get out, get out, get out. But I'm thinking back to before I got my current job, when I was at my previous company, and I had been complaining kind of for a few months about work. And I remember you saying like, do you want to get another job? Like, should you like start exploring other options? And I'm like, no. I feel like me in a workplace, like I find myself getting very comfortable. I tend to stay at the same job for a long time. So I think that's maybe one aspect of my life where I do resist change a little bit more than moving. I'm always down to move. I'm down to go anywhere. That doesn't scare me. But switching jobs for some reason gets to me. I remember when I first kind of started entertaining the idea. I think it's like when you start thinking about something and then you start getting signs, you're like, oh, that little inkling that like slipped into my mind, that little thought that I had that one day, it was the beginning of the end. Because then after that, I'm like, okay, maybe I just like update my resume. Okay, let's like take one step. Let's not move too fast here. But then after I did that, then I got contacted by a recruiter and I was like, oh, and I had like never been contacted by a recruiter. So this is what made it crazy. I was like, I started thinking about it. I started having this gut feeling. I wasn't even putting any feelers out there, but there were just little signs here and there. And then when I got reached out to by the recruiter, I was like, oh, the universe is trying to tell me something. And they were like, are you interested in an interview? I was like, okay, I'll take the interview. And then I got the job. And then bada bing, bada boom, I was gone.
And you were needing to leave that job. I don't remember exactly why, but I remember the trauma associated with that.
Severely underpaid.
severely underpaid.
Severely underpaid for the industry. So it was one of those things where I wasn't actively doing anything, but the universe was like, please let me steer you in the right direction. And I was willing to be flexible. That's kind of like how it worked out.
Exactly. Changing the resume is the first step. And it was like a door opened. Okay, we want to read a question that we found. Anxiety about big life changes and transitions. I, 25 female, recently got engaged last year to my partner of 7 years who I deeply love and care about. Since then, however, I've had some anxiety about all of the changes that are to come with getting older and married. It was a tough year and I had a lot of panic and anxiety as I wrapped up graduate school. I started going to therapy after my engagement because of severe anxiety. And I do feel a lot better than before. But now post-grad, I'll be starting a new job and moving to a brand new city an hour away from home. Not to mention I'll be moving out of my single mom's house and into a home with my fiance. So I have a lot of guilt about leaving her too. It's just a lot of change and I'm pretty anxious about it. Just wondering if anyone has any advice, tips, or similar stories of how they came out on the other side.
Oh, I feel like that is probably so relatable to so many women in like our age group. Honestly, in your 20s, because I feel like any of those big milestones can happen like at any point in your 20s. I feel like this is very close to home with a lot of the changes that we have going on this year.
Yes. When it comes to big life changes, it's the unknown that is really the scariest part, I think. Because there's an illusion of losing control. But the truth is we never have full control. But I think us girlies, we really want to be in control because it's like a safety thing and a self-protection thing. But it'll be okay. I think it's time. For this girl especially, I think it's time to move out of her mom's house. And I think the guilt thing is really freaking real and valid. But you're engaged. I definitely think it's a good idea to live with your partner if that's what you want to do. It just sounds like you do. I think that's probably the best thing for you and your relationship. And when it comes to anxiety is always going to be there. You have to just work with it and push through. having a solid relationship with yourself first and foremost will make change feel less scary and more fun, I believe.
I think another scary thing about change is just the fear of things being different, which maybe it's not even like the fear of them being different, but just knowing that things are going to be different is a scary thing, you know? The fact of the matter is it is going to be different moving in with your partner, moving out from living with your single mom. And I imagine if you are having this anxiety about moving out from your mom's place when she is single, it sounds like you guys might have a very close relationship, and that's really special. But different doesn't mean bad. And I think that's a good reminder to have. Just because things are going to be different doesn't mean it's going to be bad. It will probably be great. There are so many different memories that you're going to be able to make with your mom now that you guys are living apart that you wouldn't have been able to make together if you were still living together. I know that the memories that me and my mom make when she comes out to visit me are so fun. Also, just when you don't live with somebody and see somebody every day, I feel like when you are together, you make the time count that much more. So that's something to look forward to.
That's true. Change doesn't mean bad. It can be scary, and that's probably where the anxiety comes in. Is it's a little bit scary to tread into new territory, but you can reframe it, like Shay was saying, which is so smart and such a good practice to tell yourself just because it's different doesn't mean it's going to be bad. It could be way better. The potential is limitless of all the good things that can happen.
You know, I didn't write that down. Like, this is going to be one of my new mantras. Different doesn't mean bad. I need to tell myself that. I'm like, oh, when you tell people the thing you need to hear, like that's the moment I just had with myself. And it's making me think of a quote. Oh, me and the quotes. We're back
Quotes.
recording. You know, I have a quote for you.
Millennial, because she's 8 months older than me or something.
Oh, the millennial Gen Z cusp coming through. But what if things go wrong? Oh, but what if they go right?
That was super
Straight
even more
from-
millennial than I thought we could possibly get.
Straight from Pinterest.
That was like from Tumblr or something. That was crazy.
Honestly, that is kind of giving Tumblr.
Love it.
Never forget your roots. How do you feel about anxiety around stepping into the marriage phase of life? Because I feel like this is maybe something that we can talk about.
I don't have that.
I know. I feel like maybe it's a little bit different for us because we've lived with our partners for so long. So
This might be a personal thing because of the way that I grew up and the belief system that I have. But I don't think things will be different after marriage. Oh my God, it's canceled. Oh my God, she's fucking... I don't know. Is that weird? We've lived together for so many years. We're so close. Maybe we can always get closer. I was just about to say, I feel like we're so close. Like as close as we can possibly be in this life. But I don't know. I just don't know that I'm going to act different or anything. We'll be super different in terms of our relationship.
I know.
Because of the marriage specifically. I think maybe, as time goes on, things are always, of course, going to evolve and whatever. But I don't know. I don't know.
yeah, I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to need to remember to like listen back to this and then sit back at this time next year and reflect. Do I feel different as a wife? Maybe we'll do that like around my 1 year marriage anniversary and be like, what's changed? Has anything changed? I don't know what in the world would change when we've been living together for so long. We're going to be on the same insurance. That's going to be a perk.
I already am on his insurance.
The family plan. We can be on family plans. That's a perk.
You don't have to be married for that. Domestic partners.
Well, we didn't claim that. When we tried to go on each other's auto insurance, they said, no, you got to be married. Yeah.
Rude.
Okay, so now we're going to share some ways that can help you embrace change, to help you get excited about change. First is focusing on what you're looking forward to in the new chapter rather than the things that could go wrong or the things that you'll miss. And I feel like we kind of already talked about this. Essentially reframing the situation to be more positive rather than focusing on kind of the more negative aspects.
And if you're new here, Shay tends to do that pretty well.
Reframe.
Is
my middle name.
Some would say naturally with me because In comparison, I feel like I do tend to like go down the negative route, and that's always been really hard for me because I really have to fight that, because just we're brought up certain ways, and I don't know, but I feel like it's more ingrained in me to push more negative sometimes, but I fight really hard, like tooth and nail, to be a positive person in my adulthood, and I've been told I'm very positive, so it works. Something that I do when it comes to just change and just my life and whatever, I think I do this all the time, and it works well for me, genuinely, is having a loose plan of what my life, what I want it to look like, maybe my year, what do I want that to look like, but not a strict one. I genuinely believe if you have a really strict plan, you will be disappointed. I fully believe that. I think having a loose plan, loose maybe even concepts, a concept of a plan.
Concept of a plan.
Someone once said, who said that? I forgot. Trump? I don't remember.
Trump.
Did he say that?
I thought you were like fucking with me when you were like, someone once said. Who said? I thought it was a bit, but it was
him?
It was him.
That's fucking wild.
He's infiltrated.
He infiltrated my, wow, that's scary. Oh my God. Wait, I'm scared. The loose plan. How do I want to feel? What do I want to experience? What do I want to manifest? Where do I eventually want to be? What am I open to? Just all of those things. Like, just how do I want to feel, I think, is maybe the most important thing. And if you can, when it comes to changing or just making big moves, going in baby steps, if you're able to, this is definitely a privilege, but if you're able to take things slow and go in baby steps, that's my favorite thing in the world. I've already started decluttering from like months ago, from when we even knew that we were going to not re-sign the lease of this place that we're in. I started as soon as I could. I even put some things in boxes, even though it was like 2 months before moving, but it just makes me feel better. So
I think the like envisioning and manifesting, it helps your brain to get excited about the change. When it finally does come, you're like, this is the thing I've been dreaming of. Something else that you can do if you're feeling anxious about change, especially if it's a part of your life that you're leaving behind. I feel like part of that fear is mixed with nostalgia that's not even nostalgia yet, but just like the knowing that it's not going to be what it was anymore. Journaling to reflect on aspects of the thing that you're moving on from, that you're grateful for, that you truly loved, what you've learned from that thing or that phase of your life, so that you can remember it forever. It's there immortalized in your journal. And I think it also kind of helps you process that that thing is coming to an end.
That's really cute. I don't know if I've ever done that, but I like that. Junk journaling, same thing, but like collecting little scraps that remind you of the place and that feeling that you think you're going to miss. That would be really sweet and really cute to have. Some kind of a scrapbook. Take lots of pictures. Oh, that kind of reminds me of when I stopped doing therapy. On the last day, my therapist did this thing where she had me, what was it? Oh, I think we drew a picture of each other from memory. Oh. So with our eyes closed or something in my journal, I think I just drew a picture of her, and then does that relate? Maybe.
Yeah.
Is that related?
I think so.
But you could do that, draw a picture from memory.
Yeah, it just had me thinking that me and Zach are going to be moving out of this apartment for sure this year. And although we've lived together for a long time, we've always lived with other people. First, we lived with my mom, then with 2 other roommates, and then with then with another roommate, and then separate. And this is our first apartment together. And now that I'm thinking, like, just us two, and now that I'm thinking about that, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, before we move out, I need to start a little scrapbook, make a few pages, like our first apartment together, like our first home together.
You know what Brandon and I did? We took a picture when we first signed the lease of this place. We took a picture sitting on the kitchen counter when we had no stuff. We did too. Oh, we're so cute. We could take one when we're leaving.
Because you'll look different.
We'll look it's been 2 years. We'll look different. Oh my God.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh, Zach had long hair, the man bun era, and I had short hair, the bob with the money pieces, like blue.
Oh, the alternative era.
Yeah, the alternative era, and Zach with his hair that was fucking halfway down his back.
What?
It was so
I
long.
remember that.
It was really long. And it was funny because it was in the same era that I had really short hair.
Oh my God. How funny.
Anyways, yeah. Oh.
Okay, I already said this, but having a really good relationship with yourself and working on that will make change feel less scary and more fun. I genuinely believe this, okay? Work on your self-esteem, work on your self-trust, work on your self-worth. Because I think if all of these things are really flowing and you're in a good place with yourself, you'll have this knowing and this feeling that whatever happens, you'll be okay and you'll be able to conquer whatever, even if it's something different and you're changing and you're experiencing something scary and unknown, because you always have yourself. And you can always control your mindset. You'll always have, you, even if the circumstances around you are changing. So that's probably the biggest piece of advice I could give.
You are the constant. That's a quote by me.
Oh.
Okay, this is something that I actually tend to do. I've never saved them, which I should have been doing all this time because this would be cute to look back on. But I find myself creating playlists before big changes. Like I remember doing this before going out to college in Hawaii, and I remember listening to it on the plane, and it included like Good Riddance. That's always been like my something in life is changing song. Like in Grey's Anatomy, how they have chasing cars and like specific songs that are like the theme songs to their lives. That's like the theme song to my life. Like in the series That Is My Life, when a big life change is happening, that's the song that's playing. Like actually, like I'm listening, like I'm putting it on.
Oh my gosh.
So I think.
Oh, these are the stories of that one?
No. Good Riddance by Green Day.
Oh, I don't know what I
Another
just.
turning point, a fork stuck in the road. I hope you have the time of your life.
But that's like this has to be like a Grey's Anatomy like song, the stories of my life one. These are the stories, because they sang it. Remember that one when they did their little musical thing?
Yeah, karaoke.
Karaoke.
But yeah, I think that's something that can help you process a little bit, potentially get a little bit excited, and just make it, I don't know, a little more fun, like acting like you're the main character and you're curating the songs that are the background music to your life.
Oh my gosh. It's so funny because whenever Shay and I give tips or anything where we prepare a list or anything like this, Shay's tips are always really tangible like this. They're really like tangible things, like you can do this, and mine are always these big concepts, like these big overarching deep concepts about like life and stuff.
And it makes me look fucking dense as fuck.
No, it doesn't. We just think differently about it. Like that's why that happens. But it's funny because we do compliment each other because this is good. If it was all deep, it would be too much.
I'm like, make a playlist.
My next one is literally about faith.
I love it.
Like having faith if you can, because clearly, as we referenced it a million times, it appears we believe in the universe, whatever that means, who knows? We believe in manifestation, but whatever you believe in, like your religion, or if you believe in God, whatever little faith that you rely on, leaning on that in times of change, especially if stuff is getting kind of scary and spooky, having a belief that kind of grounds you, if you can do that, whatever speaks to you, so you can just be like, whatever happens, this is my plan. It's really helpful.
Well, that's what you were saying, but I do feel like we both operate under the belief of things always work out, and if they don't, we always figure them out. It's never a total loss.
Absolutely.
Like
It's
nothing's
like, oh,
ever
it was a
happened.
lesson.
Nothing's ever happened that we haven't like come back from.
No.
Essentially.
Mm-mm.
And I feel like that's the case for most people, genuinely.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it didn't go the way you wanted it to go, things are still going.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and to really jump back onto the other side of the spectrum, celebrate the change. So if you're moving, maybe it's a going away party. If it's a new job, maybe, I don't know, going and shopping for a couple new supplies for whatever you do for work, or depending on like if you go in person to work, if you can like get a new shirt, or I don't know, something that makes the change fun and is something to look forward to for the change.
A sweet treat.
That was also in my examples, a sweet treat, a celebratory treat.
Get a cake.
Because change can be exciting. It can be scary, but it can be exciting.
You're so good at romanticizing things. Make a playlist. I would have never thought about that in my life. Like, genuinely, I would not have. So, I'm glad. I'm very glad.
Do you see like the la-di-da that goes on inside my head?
Yeah, but
it's
not
like,
fully. You're still grounded.
It's funny because it sounds so cute, but I'm like, it's all a mask. It's all a mask. I'm actually depressed. Just kidding.
Oh, for real?
I don't think for real. I think obviously like I share like the happy side of things, but I get down bad. Like it's not always romantic.
I mean, if the people are new here,
you
went through the mud last year.
Yeah.
You had loss after loss after loss after loss.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So that's only normal and natural to be sad sometimes, but you have really good coping mechanisms.
Mm-hmm. Coping.
I'm like, you're not depressed, but I'm not. I don't mean to do that. I don't mean to do that. I'm not doing that.
I sent Natalie a TikTok today because we always talk about me being strong, and the girl's like, oh, she's just like mocking like people saying she's strong. Oh, you're so strong. Oh, you can get through anything. She's like, yeah, the alternative is I off myself. So like it's I off myself or I keep going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like there's one or the other. So yeah, we keep going. We persevere. And back to you, Natalie.
That's all I got.
Well, that's the episode. Well, you guys, we are so happy to be back. I'm sorry I got a little dark at the end, but that happens sometimes if you're new here. But we try to keep the vibes high. We're very excited about this new era of the podcast. And we didn't even mention, we should have mentioned this in the beginning, but we are doing something new. We're going to be posting our episodes on YouTube, and they're going to have a cute little complimentary little background, and you can put it on your TV while you're cleaning, while you're doing whatever you're doing around the house, and it will really help you set the tone. And, we always say, oh my God, you know where to find us, but you don't anymore. At Very, Very Delusional. Not at Delusional AF Podcast. At Very, Very Delusional on where?
Instagram,
TikTok. If you're new here, if you want to get a notification every time a new episode comes out on Mondays, be sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And if you liked this episode and if you're excited for this new era of the podcast, be sure to leave us a rating, 5-star rating, a review, perhaps. Let us know how you like the episode. Let us know what you think of the new cover. And we will talk to you guys next week. Love ya. Bye.